Canadian girls, Canadian girls, irresistible, lovable, trouble though sometimes, girls. We can travel the world, from New York to Paris, France, but we're always gonna come back, Canadian girls. Baby, she likes to snowboard and spend her summers out on a boat. Thinks a perfect night out is a cabin, smell of coffee on an old wood stove. And she won't admit that she watched it crashing. She's proud, she's sometimes quiet. A true north, a national treasure. She'd give her life for a red and a white. Canadian girls, Canadian girls, irresistible, lovable, trouble though sometimes, girls. We can travel the world, from New York to Paris, France, but we're always gonna come back, Canadian girls. Well, as boys, we like our fishing, our hockey and Ron McLean. We like moosehead beer and white-tailed deer, stomping Tom in the UFC. And we like the foreign ladies, yeah, their accents are really nice. But there ain't nothing like our northern girls to keep us warm at night. Canadian girls, Canadian girls, irresistible, lovable, trouble though sometimes, girls. We could travel the world, from New York to Paris, France, but we're always gonna come back, Canadian girls. From the mountains to the ocean sands, Kentucky up to Newfoundland, yeah, you keep us coming back, Canadian girls.
The opinions expressed on this show do not represent those of the station. If you've missed any of the shows, you can follow the podcast at energeticcity.ca. Welcome to This Week in the Peace, a show dedicated to the people, events, and news of BC's Peace region. Here's your hosts, Dub Craig and Steve Berard.
Welcome to This Week in the Peace. Dub, you're doing the intro today.
So I am. Later on, I'll be chatting with Matt Troiano of the Fort St. John Fire Rescue about Emergency Preparedness Week and how you can ensure you and your family are ready in case of an emergency.
But first, we're just a few weeks away now from the start of Pride Month here in Fort St. John. In order to give us a rundown of how people in the energetic city will be able to commemorate the occasion, we're here now with Jessica Beaumont, the Vice President of the North Peace Pride Society. Jessica, thanks for coming in.
Good morning, all who are here and shall watch later. As I was introduced, my name is Jessica Beaumont. This year, I was elected to be our Vice President of the North Peace Pride Society, and I have never been more excited. This little one here is my daughter. I first joined the Pride Society when I was pregnant with her because I was like, I'm pregnant. What can I do to make this world just a little bit better? And so I reached out to the Pride Society, and I was volunteering before I became a director.
Awesome. Great to hear. So we're talking today about this year's Pride Walk and Festival. First of all, for people who haven't seen the announcements, where and when is this happening this year?
All right. So we've always done it the first Saturday of the month in June. And this time it's going to be the 7th of June. We've done it at Centennial for the last couple of years, and we really like just walking around. Then we don't need to cross streets, but it's also very visible. And then when we used to do it at the other place, it was kind of hard to figure out, okay, who's driving and not walking and who's driving the vehicle back so we
Right.
can all have the consistent. So booths will be set up by 1 p.m. About 2, we're going to start some speeches, hello, who we are. Our platinum sponsor, TD, I think it's their 8th year being our platinum sponsor. They're going to, say a little, thank you for being here. And we thank them because, whoo, platinum sponsor.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're going to kick it off with their walk. We've got an amazing sound system planned by Sound in Town. They've done it every year, and we love the way the sound comes out. As we walk, we'll just have some music playing. Afterwards, we're going to have some amateur drags who have signed up. Then we have Money Shift. They've just agreed with me yesterday to play some songs. So we're going to have a live band. It's going to be their first live performance before they perform on Canada Day, June 1st.
Okay, awesome.
So if you like what you see, then you know where to find them again next. And then here's this thing we're going to try new. So we've been doing Pride in our community for 10 years, Pride Walk. Now we kind of want to see what you're proud of. We're going to do a bit of a talent show if anyone wants to sign up. So reach us through our Facebook page or through our email you can find on our website. And for the next 2 weeks, I'll just kind of be taking names and stuff. And then, once I get people, whether you want to sing, whether you want to dance, let's see what you're proud of, right? Maybe you play some drums. I know I like some good music, and, it's cool to see what people can do. And maybe you just want to do like a show off, like maybe you knit and you want to maybe we can have a display of what people are excited to show. But Pride for me stands for not having to hide and for being able to just be proud of what you do. And it's to think that Fort St. John has been able to do Pride for 10 years is super exciting. So after the walk and the festival and, the performances and stuff, there'll be a lot of our sponsors there with tents, with free giveaways. We're going to have pizza again. I know Urban Systems already promised to have water, so don't worry if you forget your water bottle. After the festival, I believe we're starting doors open at 7 or 8, but go to our Facebook page. They've got it down better than I do. And we'll be having our 19 plus event. It's going to be our dance. And I'm super excited for that. But for those of you who cannot wait till June 7th, May 15th, we're going to have our monthly board game night with the Literary Society. They have provided us an awesome space, and we provide popcorn and pop, and we just play games. And if you just want to talk and you don't like to play games, that's fine. It's just a place to come down and meet some people. We also have a pizza night that we've been doing with Soul Sweet Cafe. Unfortunately, I could not find the date before we started this interview. Sorry, a little bit unprepared. Woke up a little bit late with this one. I can't always blame it on her, though. And then we're talking with Nina Deneza about doing art nights. So maybe games aren't your things. Maybe chatting with pizza aren't your things. Maybe art is your thing. So as soon as we got that, ready, we'll put it on our Facebook page. We're going to put it, on our Discord, which, speaking of which, we now have a Discord. So maybe Facebook isn't your thing and other social medias aren't. So if you want to stay in contact with us, send us an email and we can send you the Discord link. And just got some crazy people. It's for 19 plus only, and we try to keep it PG, so PG people. And it's a great way to stay in contact with what new things we have with one of our newer board members, Jade Ma. She's been really pushing for monthly events. Let's do more than just the big festival. Let's have Pride all the time. And then for anyone who doesn't know, for the past 3 years, we've been doing a monthly Pride night with the library for ages 13 to 18. And it's a youth night, and the library's closed, so the youth get to just do what they want. There's some of us there technically for supervision, just making sure they don't start that fire cult they've been promising. And either than that, they get to decide what they want to do, whether they do buttons, whether they do perler beads, whether they just chat and talk. And we just provide pizza.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, sounds like a great time. I want to go over a couple of hard details really quickly for the festival.
Gotcha.
You mentioned that's going to be big festival walk, Centennial Park, and that part of what's nice about Centennial Park is that you don't have to worry about traffic. Are there going to be any road closures or anything like that as a result of the walk?
No road closures. So we just we leave the park and we go out near that entrance that is, by the pool. And then we walk around in front of the Pomeroy. So if you are trying to drive into the Pomeroy that day, you might have a bit slower of a time about it. But if not, then yeah, we're not going to be crossing any roads, so you won't have to worry about the slowdown. But I mean, if you can only drive by, then maybe just drive by and give us a honk and say, woohoo!
Okay, perfect. For anyone who has never been to this event before, or any event like this, maybe even if they're new to the community or just new to all of this, what should people expect? What should people bring for their first time?
Well, honestly, it can, vary. We've got, people, there's usually lots of rainbows. So if you are a monochrome type of person, it might burn your eyes. We're just going to wait, Rowan. And then, there's going to be music. Like I said, Sound of Town is going to have their music. And we have our wonderful volunteer, Ted Sloan. He's going to control that with the DJ system. He's pretty good at knowing what kind of music there is. So the music can get a bit loud. So if you don't like loud things, maybe bring some headphones or something. And then that can help, balance loudness.
Right.
We sell our merchandise so that we can, make a little bit of extra money, but also so then if you don't have anything rainbow, you can bring it. We're going to have our t-shirts where we try to do a little theme every year. This year is We Are the Spirit of Northern Pride.
Okay.
So we've got our traditional little Oral Derrick sign with a little bit of the Northern Lights coming off in the style of a rainbow. And it also says that it's our 10th anniversary. So like I said, I can't believe that it's been 10 years we've been doing this now.
Awesome, yeah. So you guys mentioned Ted Sloan is volunteering to help you guys out. Do you guys need any other volunteers or anything to help run the event?
If anyone wants to volunteer, different people can bring different but different specialties and stuff. Honestly, our board is all entirely made up of volunteers, and we all have our own jobs, whether it's, a part-time job with mom and, working at the library, or it's, a full-time job, working somewhere else.
Right.
We're all just trying to find time in between. So if someone's a good stage manager, especially since we want to do a talent show this year, reach out to me. I'd love to connect with you. Like I said, email or Facebook. I will admit, again, we are volunteers, so I don't always have time to check my email.
No, for sure, of course.
So I am sorry for the slow replies sometimes. I am terrible for that. Please forgive me. But yeah, and whether sometimes it's just the manpower of the city brings the tables and chairs and we got to set it up. So whatever people want to do, we'd love to share.
Okay, awesome. For people who maybe can't volunteer their time, but they want to contribute in some way. I know you mentioned merchandise. Are there any other ways people can contribute money to the Pride Society?
So we do just have a donate option, but you can also join as a member. So what the membership does is we have our annual AGM, and if there's any directors, coming up, you can vote on who you'd like to stand as a director for you in the Pride Society. So, maybe you think I didn't do such a great job, so you can vote someone in to be the vice president next time. Maybe you thought I did a great job, so you can be no, that one, keep her. It's just $5, it also puts you on our email page, so that, we send out our emails when we have updates and stuff. Or you can just donate. If you don't want to be a member and come to the meetings and stuff,
right.
We'll have an option just to donate with tap or cash. So you can pick either one, whichever your option is. We try to keep it simple. For any businesses who want to, we always have our rainbow sponsors, which is $500. We have our silver sponsors, which is $1,000. And we have our gold sponsor, which is $2,000. Platinum sponsor's already been taken up. So.
And there's still time for potential sponsors to get in touch?
So it would be a bit hard for you to be on the actual physical poster, because the physical poster is going to be going up in the next few days.
Right.
But you could definitely get a digital shout out, and you could have a booth at the Pride Society's walk. For any nonprofits who are Pride positive as well, I'm just about to send out my email to say, hey, do you want to come join us? If I missed you in that email and you're hearing this radio thing right now, well, then just send us an email and I'll be I'm sorry, I I forgot. I'm a bit scatterbrained. I'm also a little pregnant again, so
Oh,
there's
wow.
going to now be 2 of these eventually running around.
Okay.
And I will shamelessly use that as an excuse.
Okay, so we talked a little bit as well about events for people who can't make it out for the Pride Walk and Festival. We talked about game night. That's happening May 15th.
May 15th. Yeah, I got that one down for sure at the Literary Society. If we don't already have posters up, then at least on our digital site, we stopped putting posters up physically because it's just a monthly event and it just kind of gets a bit harder.
Okay, for sure.
But there should be a digital poster on our Facebook page, and I'm announcing it now. So
Okay, awesome. So game night May 15th, Ninan Deneza art night to be determined.
To be determined. Stay tuned. It may not be in May. It may be in June. Oh, I nearly forgot. Foundry has partnered with the city, and they are going to be doing a free Glow with Pride swim night at the swimming pool. I believe it was June 2nd. That's let me look at my calendar. I am so sorry. Wrong button. No, sorry, we're doing it a Sunday, and we're doing it this Sunday. Sorry. Nope. Scatterbrained. I need to check my emails for that. So sorry. I should have become more prepared for this
It's all good.
interview.
We understand. No worries. Okay, I think we've gone over everything on our list. Is there anything else you wanted to add while we still have you here?
I'm thankful for all the amazing directors I work with. We all have our own different things that makes us special and helps us out. And it's just cool to see that so many people are willing to volunteer their time. It's also amazing to see the community come together every year and just be able to do this Pride Walk and stuff. Even the people who maybe aren't so happy with the Pride Walk, it's nice that they don't, they might not agree with us, but they don't shut us down either. And I really appreciate that. So a big shout out to everyone, for their kindness and their acceptance. And I appreciate that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, Jessica.
Yeah. Sorry about my small interference.
It's all good. No worries. No worries. That was Jessica Beaumont with the North Peace Pride Society. Dub's chat with Matt Troiano of the Fort St. John Fire Rescue is up next on This Week in the Peace.
Moose FM is out and about, supporting your favorite local business.
Breaking news on this Friday morning. Petite Pedal Company has moved. I don't know if you've seen our vehicle out front, the big on location sign, but 9635 100th Avenue. They're right along 100th in this adorable little house that they've completely redone into just a premier flower shop here in Fort St. John. And there's a bunch of things that you can grab for Mother's Day, from chocolates to candles to cards to, of course, their new Build Your Own Bouquet bar. It's adorable. I love everything about it. But in chatting with Deb and her amazing staff, we also brought up the fact that it's more than just for Mother's Day. I mean, for stagettes, for bridal showers, if you guys want to come in and make your own bouquets, they can support those parties. If you just want to do a girls' night, they can support those as well. It's their new Build Your Own Bouquet bar, only at Petite Pedal Company and only off 100th Avenue.
Do you have something positive you'd like to share with the community? We here at Moose FM want to share it every weekday with FSJ, brought to you by Frontier Law. Whether you're fundraising for the SPCA or saw someone doing a good deed in the community, we want to hear from you. Email us at reception@moosefm.ca and we'll share your story right after 7:30. And our Facebook pages. FS Joy is brought to you by Frontier Law.
Swing by Just Jack's Restaurant and treat yourself to our Irish Delights lunch buffet every Friday. All the flavors you love and all you can eat for just $16. Think of it as fast food, but jazzed up with a delicious Irish twist that's far from the usual. Come on over and dig in.
Make the best decisions for your life with the help from Janot Notaries. Strengthening the Fort St. John community, the team at Janot Notaries are here to guide you through the process of real estate transfers, wills and estate planning, and of course, notarizations. They've been serving the community for the past 7 years and invite you to come and see them at their new location on 101st Avenue in the Janot building across from the old hospital with plenty of parking. Learn more at fsjnotary.com. Who's a good dog?
Bone and Biscuit prides itself in real pet, real food, real healthy, and real local. They're open 7 days a week in the Gateway Plaza next to Pita Pit and until 9 p.m. on weekdays.
He's so cute.
With daily specials, Tuesday senior days, and monthly bona fide deals, Bone and Biscuit is your friendly neighborhood pet store.
No heat? No problem. Pro North Heating has the largest in-stock selection of OEM and universal heating parts in Canada. Yeah, they got that. Stop in and see them on the Old Fort Road or shop their full inventory online at pronorthheating.com.
Moose Country weather.
Mix of sun and cloud today. We'll see a bit of wind as well. We'll get to a high of 15. Tonight, under partly cloudy sky, we dip to a low of 6. For tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud, a bit windy, a high of 16. And for Mother's Day on Sunday, sunshine and a high of 19.
You can watch this show live on Facebook. Catch the replays at energeticcity.ca or be part of the show by texting your thoughts to the Fort City Chrysler line at 250-787-2222.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Dub. It's Emergency Preparedness Week, which is the perfect time for you to review your emergency plan with your family. Of course, with the Fish Creek Community Forest fire, a wildfire, I should say, that happened last week, there were some local evacuations of people nearby who had to get out pretty darn quickly. So to talk a bit about that and how you can be better prepared with your family, I sat down with Fort St. John Fire Rescue Deputy Chief Matt Troiano the other day. Here's that conversation. Matt, thank you very much for being with me today. I wanted to start with the Fish Creek fire before we get to Emergency Preparedness Week, because of course there were evacuations from that, and being prepared for things like evacuations is important. You're on the scene first, the fire rescue. Can you talk to me a bit about, what you saw when you kind of first arrived and sort of the situation as it was unfolding kind of immediately after you heard the report and kind of arrived on scene?
Yeah, so Thursday afternoon, just looking north of town, the plume of smoke definitely grew very fast given the hot dry temperatures and the wind. So responding to the initial incident, again, there wasn't much indication as to what was involved just yet, and typical with the beginning stages of emergency response, when there isn't much information, you don't really have a lot to go on. So heading north to the scene, there was an abundance of traffic that we had to deal with. A lot of people, when they saw smoke, fire, everything, they kind of moths to a flame, which makes our response that much more difficult to be able to get established. But yeah, so heading up there and starting to get kind of established there, we had an abundance of resources between all of our staff with the City of Fort St. John Fire. We were able to activate our mutual aid partners through Taylor and Charlie Lake, which we are extremely grateful that they were able to come out and help. And then luckily enough, right at the beginning stages, we were able to request BC Wildfire to help us and to provide air support, which made a significant impact in our ability to be able to mitigate the fire from spreading into any properties or anything like that.
I see. I'm just curious how kind of all these moving parts work together, especially with kind of BC Wildfire Service. Had they been notified that there was a fire kind of right away, or was it you got on scene, you being fire rescue, as you say, sort of got the lay of the land a bit and said, okay, we're going to need their help because this is, not out of our league, but what they sort of typically deal with, I suppose, in these situations.
Yeah, I mean, so as the City of Fort St. John Fire Department, we specialize primarily in structural protection, in structure fires and within the city. So anything like this that you would look into, say, forested area or wildland urban interface, you'd be working in conjunction with BC Wildfire. That's their specialty. They're the professionals there. So when we first arrived there, the incident commander initially, as we were getting situated and getting our personnel in the right areas, requested BC Wildfire's assistance immediately. So with that, and then they're very familiar with the terrain, having a base up here, we were able to get those additional resources established right off the bat, and then work in unified command with them as well throughout the extent of the incident, and even to today where they're still working there.
I see. Now, again, as I understand it, Fire Rescue, Fort St. John Fire Rescue was sort of taking the lead at the start, but at some point it became kind of co-managing, and then later, as I understand, BC Wildfire Service is sort of in charge of it fully now, right? So if you can, talk to me a bit about that, and at what stages do we say, well, this is now kind of your responsibility, if that's the best way to put it, or you're in charge now, we're going to pull back so that you can kind of manage the situation? Because, obviously you have to share resources, and your resources may have been needed elsewhere,
Yeah.
Right.
So that, I guess, essentially we call that unified command, where you have lead agencies on both ends that work together in conjunction with the different resources to be able to mitigate the incident. Now, anything that's within the city of Fort St. John, so all of that property, including the community forest, that's the city of Fort St. John's jurisdiction. So that fire is our fire. That is the one that we're in charge of managing it. But with that, and working in conjunction with resources such as BC Wildfire, that's where you incorporate them in and you work together to solve it. So as it is right now, they are still operating within, in some aspects within the city of Fort St. John, some aspects within our regional response area being the Peace River Regional District.
Yeah.
So as it is, we are still in unified command, and we are still able to assist them with anything that would be deemed necessary. Again, we specialize in structural protection, not so much going down and dealing with forestry area.
Yeah.
Now, as you would see throughout the rest of the province, typically regularly throughout the summer, anything that's in Crown land or anything that's in government jurisdiction, that is entirely BC Wildfire. As soon as it starts to encroach into municipalities or districts or something like that, they work in conjunction. But again, we are still in part with them, having a lead role with them, and still meeting with them regularly to ensure that if there is any resources that they require from us, we're able to provide that, being that it's in our jurisdiction. But it kind of leads back to we also have the rest of the city to take care of, to protect, and to be readily available to respond to. So it's managing resources as much as we can and leaning on people that are specialty as much as possible.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I want to get to why you're mainly here today, which is to talk about Emergency Preparedness Week. It is fire season. Typically this time of year during the spring dip is when we see sometimes the worst fire activity in the province, and more, we need to be more and more prepared in case a disaster like a fire threatens, your home or the homes of your neighbors and whatnot. So tell us a bit about this week and kind of what you're all about. I know you're visiting schools and businesses. You've been very busy. So tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, so Emergency Preparedness Week, again, the same time every year. It focuses on being ready in case an emergency happens. So this past week is a really good example of, in a little bit of different circumstances, there could have been a much larger impact on some of these properties that would have resulted in them having to immediately evacuate. We did have to conduct a couple tactical evacuations, meaning knock on the door, there's a fire, get out quickly. And that's where the 72-hour kits really they really shine. So that's typically what we advise is the 3-day kits that would be able to provide you with just being able to sustain yourself and your family for that 3-day period. There's a lot of different actions that you can take with Emergency Preparedness Week. We look at notification systems. So the City of Fort St. John, in collaboration with the Peace River Regional District, there is a public notification system called Everbridge. It's Northeast BC Alerts. So that's, again, just a app that you get on your phone that you register yourself. And in the case of an emergency, or more specifically an evacuation, we're able to ping everybody in that area, and then you get alerted to that. So as far as emergency planning goes, there's many different ways that you can kind of stay in tune with it and make your family safe and just be prepared in case emergency does strike.
Yeah. So in terms of the 72-hour kit, this is, I assume, something you recommend you always have ready because there could be an emergency at any time. Tell us a bit about some of the things you keep in that kit that, again, I assume should be ready to grab and go if you're like, we got to go now. You grab it from a good location in your house and you're out the door, right?
So a good thing to kind of keep in mind is clothes, right? So clothes and any like kind of toiletries or something like that you can keep that will keep you sustained. It's always a good idea to keep some water, some food, rations, and that kind of aspect. Warm clothing, depending on the time of year. It could be in the winter that you have to evacuate. But there's some really good comprehensive lists online that would help guide you. There's also some kits that are pre-built that you could purchase. But it's just a matter of ensuring that you have what we would refer to as a go bag, just in case something does happen. And it's advisable for having stuff in there for pets if you need pets. But just in any case, and as we've seen over the past few years, especially with our emergency support services that we provide here, when there is an evacuation and you have to go to a reception center, there is assistance that's that is available for people, but it's bridging that gap and making sure that you are as much as possible able to be self-sustaining.
And I suppose part of that too can also be having a plan. You know, you may not have your passport in the go bag all the time, but knowing where it is in your house and who's going to get it and that sort of thing if that evacuation order or emergency comes, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I mentioned, there are lists out there that can help guide you and your family to be able to at least prepare as much as possible for in the event of something like this were to happen. It's no secret that in our region, wildfires is the primary concern for a lot of these potential evacuations. So this time of year, especially of what we just experienced over the past week, this would be a good opportunity and timely with Emergency Preparedness Week for families to have a look at this and to take it seriously and just make sure that they're ready in case they need to.
Okay. One final question on this. A lot of people, as you mentioned, families have kids in this town. How do you prepare your kids for something like this whether they're older or younger? I'm sure if they're older, they can actually be more physically helpful with kind of getting ready to go. But even sort of just preparing your kids when they're little, like this is an emergency. It's time to listen.
Yeah.
when it's hard for them to listen kind of normally, right?
Yeah. So, the school district has some opportunity to be able to instill some education around emergencies, emergency preparedness and evacuations and stuff like that. The province of British Columbia has programs in place that they are able to give out to children, and families are able to access those online as well to help with those types of conversations and stuff like that. I know that over the past couple of years, especially with the impacts that we've had with the amount of smoke in the area, and then the fires that are just adjacent to the community or the city of Fort St. John, from some feedback from some people, there was a bit of anxiety, especially with the children around what to expect, what there is. So, looking at it through the lens of just being able to be prepared in case something happens, but also knowing where to go, how to act, and what to expect, kind of thing, in case you do have to get evacuated. Typically, a lot of the regional areas around the city, and you can look throughout the Peace River Regional District and some of the smaller districts, their wildfire concern is definitely higher than other areas. So having those conversations and making sure that these kits are in place are ready to go in case something does happen there.
All right. And quickly, if we want to find out more information, is there a good place for us to maybe go or phone? Or?
Yeah, so we have some information that we post on our Facebook page, especially coming up to Emergency Preparedness Week. But online through EMCR, Emergency Management and Climate Readiness, they have an abundance of materials for this type of stuff as far as emergency preparedness and suggested lists and preparation guides and all that can help families really focus on what's important and what they need to do in this time of year.
All right. One last question for you. I know the firefighters charity ball just happened. Tell me how it went. I mean, I saw you raised a lot of money, which is awesome. So
yeah. So, every single year around this time of year, we have the Fort St. John Firefighters Charitable Society has their biggest fundraiser of the year. This past year being one of the larger amounts raised just immediately after we had these wildfires. It was that weekend. So it went really well. They raised a lot of money that it all goes back into helping the community, helping the families in town here. It's just another example of, a lot of people, when they think of firefighters, when they think of what they do in their services, they think of, going to fires, they go to medical calls, doing technical rescues. This is just something that those guys in the Fort St. John Fire Department there, they go above and beyond for the community. So, you talk about public service, that is public service right there. That is doing something, the amount of volunteer hours that they put in every single year. volunteer, hundreds of volunteer hours, and the community that supports them to be able to do that. That's all over and above really what their job is for us. So they put in the time and they truly make a difference in the community. And it's nice to have that here that people can look to and see the benefits that they're all contributing to and how it's working.
Yeah. Where's some of the funding go? What are kind of the big things you use the money for?
So they, and maybe I'm talking out of turn, and maybe you should have the president come on and talk with you about it, but I can speak a little bit to it. I know that they're very active, especially with School District 60, with providing the children some various things throughout the year, which has some really good positive impact for the kids in our community. I would say the most prominent initiative that they work through is the medical travel program. Yeah. So, Fort St. John, fairly isolated. There's a lot of medical needs that are not able to be done in Fort St. John. So what they have, and what we've seen a lot of benefit from over the years, what they have is seeing and helping people be able to travel to get that service that they need, which is a huge help to the community up here. It's remarkable to see some of the stories that they have and the impacts that they're able to have to help these families who they struggle to, or they can't afford to be able to go to Vancouver for a weekend to go and get this treatment done. So that would be, I would say, the best part of the charity. Although their fingers are far stretched between, opening up the pool for a week or a week and a half over spring break and having all the kids there be able to swim for free. Again, just another great example of the extra efforts that those firefighters are putting in over and above their jobs to be able to make it so that this community they're really bought into this community, right? Absolutely. Like, this is their home and they want to make it the best that they can.
All right. Well, we'll have to leave it there. Matt, thank you very much for your time today.
Yeah, no worries. Take care.
That was Matt Troiano, the Deputy Fire Chief with Fort St. John Fire Rescue. Thanks again to Jessica Beaumont from the North Peace Pride Society for joining us today on This Week in the Peace. And thank you for tuning in.
You can listen to this show again by checking out the podcast at energeticcity.ca/podcasts. We'll store this and future episodes of the show there as we make them. Also, check out our other locally produced podcast, Before the Peace, as well. That's our show. I'm Steve Berard.
And I'm Dub Craig. Be well.
Join us again next Friday morning at 10 for another edition of This Week in the Peace, your weekly talk show dedicated to the people, events, and news of BC's Peace Region. Or you can listen to this podcast